take away another conference win this past weekend against Washington. Just kind of your takeaways of how the team played overall.
First takeaway is good to win another conference weekend. I think in the country right now, there's only 11 teams out there in the whole country that have gone 7-2 in their weekend series, and we're one of them. So that's a really good thing. The consistency of being able to win a conference series, the 2 out of 3 weekend is a good tell for the committees when they start picking postseason regional teams and all that kind of stuff. And so that's a really good thing. On the positive, on the negative, I was disappointed that we didn't come out with 3, and so I guess those would be the 2 takeaways.
Maybe the consistency then within specific weekends hasn't been what you'd like, so you could finish off a sweep, but to have a pretty young group, which you've talked about throughout the season, consistently week after week win series, what does that tell you about the way guys are developing and maturing as they get to this point in the season?
Well, they're not quitting on themselves when they lose a game is what that tells you. They're able to be resilient and come back and be tough enough to deal with the adversity of having a loss or taking a negative, right? And a lot of times a young group, when they have a negative show up in their world, they go the other direction, and it takes you a while to get them back before you can, start having success again. So they're able to overcome adversity pretty quickly and get on to the next day or get on to the next pitch, like we like to say, from a mental side of it. But those would be my takeaways with that.
Final series against Washington State here. Not a great year for Wazoo, but they've given some teams some tough games. Just what have you seen from them overall as a club?
Well, their number 1 starter is as good as anybody in the Pac-12. I think he's 2nd or 3rd in the conference in strikeouts. And I think he went up to Washington and I don't know how many struck out, 18 guys in one game or 17 guys in one game. The guy's ridiculous. He's been really good his whole career. He's old. I think he's a fifth year or a 6th-year senior, maybe even a guy that stuck around during COVID. He's been there forever, it seems like. So he's really, really good. And so we're going to need to be on our game against him. They've got some really good bullpen pieces as well. And so even though maybe the overall body of work isn't awesome, they're definitely a team that can creep up and get you. And they've been extremely competitive. They beat USC this last week, 20-8 on a Friday night, which is, big score for a Friday night. So they're plenty capable.
Looking ahead to last series of the regular season at home, weather forecast looks pretty good. Where you guys are at in the race and all that, you starting to envision hopefully maybe an atmosphere something approximating what you saw here at the end of last season?
Yeah, for the Super Regionals, it'd be great. I think there's plenty for the fans to see. I think that they're always looking for something to do in Eugene, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be sold out. You got a lot of really good local players and Oregon players, to come out and watch. Bryce Betcher, Bennett Thompson. Those 2 guys right there are 2 of the many that we've got in state. Maddox Maloney right now starting shortstop. He's got looks at the Team USA team this summer. He's got a chance to be on that club. So, yeah, there's a lot of really good in-state and local talent for people to come out and watch. Another caveat is the fact that, I think this is probably one of the last sporting events in the Pac-12 conference. I don't know if it's the last or not. I'm not an expert on that, but it's going to be one of the last, and it's definitely the last baseball contest of the Pac-12 conference to be played. And so for me, other than those 2 things, you got an awesome baseball team that's wants your support at PK Park, fans. So come on out.
Smith had a really good series this past weekend. You moved him up to the leadoff spot. What did you see out of him there? And what kind of went into the decision to put him in leadoff?
Drew Smith?
Yeah.
We don't have a true leadoff hitter, a guy that's just, really feisty, above 500 on base percentage kind of guy that's going to steal you 30 bases. We don't have that guy. And so, what do you do? You just put a guy up there that's really super competitive and old and maybe can grind out some at-bats and get things going. Last week he did a nice job. We started the year, I think, with Drew leading off, and we've shuffled the deck, and we've really tried to find formulas that have worked the best to score runs. And, that's why we went back to that.
What does this senior class mean to you?
Well, anytime that a senior class is moving on, you look at the wall behind the fence, and you want to determine what have they accomplished from a performance standpoint. Obviously, they all have college degrees, which is great, and they've all been great guys. But when you look at their performance, that's one of the things that we did at PK Park is to have it very visible what years the team's been in the regionals and postseason play, because that's the barometer, I think, when this senior class or any class comes back to the field and they look at the wall up there and, 2000 and, 21, 22, 23, and hopefully 24 are all indicated as being regional teams and postseason type teams. And so a senior that's played in the program and can say, this is my legacy, I think means a lot when they bring their family and friends out for future years. And every year they've played at this field for this program, it's indicated as a successful postseason team. I think that says an awful lot for the senior group.
You guys have kept the starting rotation basically the same throughout the whole entire year. Is Brock Moore kind of making you think about it just a little bit more now?
Yeah, sure are. You know, Brock, he could be teed up to be getting a start pretty soon. You know, potentially the Pac-12 conference tournament. Really excited about us being able to stretch him out in some ways, and in others I haven't been, because that means that basically you've had a starting pitcher that hasn't gone as deep as you wanted him to go. I'd really like to see all three of our starters go really deep in the game this weekend. That'd be awesome. And Brock's now stretched out to where he can start as well. We even considered him as a starter this weekend, but chose not to. And you know that he'll be definitely an option moving forward. He's been dominant, and he's earned it.
Had he thrown in the starting rotation this weekend, which day were you thinking about having him pitch? Was that like Sunday or?
He's available pitch every day of this week, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
I just meant you saying he potentially was going to crack the starting rotation this weekend.
We had considered it. We're going to stay with the same rotation this weekend.
What did you see out of his outing up at Washington that was, really had him firing on all cylinders to leave him out there for 5 straight?
Yeah, same thing we saw against Oregon State. I mean, he went out there and just dominated, really. His mid to upper 90s fastball with 3 pitches for strikes and just overall command of everything that went on in the game. So, a guy doing that, I know of guys on the West Coast right now, he's probably got the most helium late here in the season with all the scouts. The kid's got a chance to really, really do well in this coming year's draft, really well. And for a senior, that's hard to do, and he's earned it.
Against Utah, even though you guys came out with a series win and put up some runs across the board, you said the offense is kind of clunky, and maybe that was mostly due to the weather. This past weekend, you guys score again a whole lot of runs. Just how do you feel like overall as a unit, your lineup is kind of clicking, or if they are clicking?
We score a lot of home runs via the home run, or a lot of runs via the home run. And so, when we're hitting home runs, we score a lot. And when we're not, we haven't been able to sustain an offense. And so I guess if you're playing against us, keep the home run off the board. Or if you're in our uniform, then the more home runs, the better. So, first 2 days at Washington, I think we hit a lot of home runs, but it didn't indicate 2 wins. We were 1-1 when we hit a lot of home runs. And then the last day we won and we didn't hit any, I don't think. And so it was kind of nice to win without a home run on the board, for sure. Bottom line is just win. I don't really care if we're hitting home runs or not. I know it's fun for the fans. It's fun for us in the dugout too. But still, the objective is to win the game regardless of how you do it.
With Maddox, we've talked a lot about his, singing his praises and how well he's done as a true freshman. He's up to 10 home runs. That breaks the record, the true freshman home run record. Are there things that he does on a given day, whether it's practice or a game, where it kind of takes you by surprise? Like you didn't think he had that in his tank, but he still was able to do it?
No. He's done it since he's been here, and ironically, he broke the home run record for a freshman, and that's the second time this season that a different freshman has broken the home run record for a freshman. That's how good our 2 freshmen, and talking about Ryan Cooney as well. He is the first guy to break the home run record for a freshman, and then Maddox broke his record. So 2 really good freshmen in our program, which is fun.
Put Bennett back in the order a couple times this weekend. Just what have you seen from him? And again, last year he came on and was a firecracker last year at this time. Just do you feel like he's starting to put something like that together? Yeah,
he had a huge double to get us going early in the game against Washington, I think, on Sunday, and then he had an RBI base hit also on Sunday. Before that, he had some good at bats on Friday. I think he was 2 for 4, and we hit him in the 4 hole. And before that, we pinch hit him, and he hit a home run. So he started to get hot. It's good to see. Chase Meggers, his competition's also pretty hot too. I think the game that he started on, I want to say maybe Friday, I think he had 5 RBI game on Friday night. And so to have 2 guys like that are going pretty good is a lot of fun. It'd be, if we can get 9 guys in order to go at that clip, boy, that's a scary lineup to have. It's awfully long.
We haven't seen Mike Friend since I think the Sac State start a couple weeks ago in midweek. Is he dealing with an injury? Is he just working on things?
No, he's unavailable. Yep.
So he's just not pitching this weekend, I'm assuming then.
No, won't be pitching this weekend. No.
Going into the last series of the regular season, where last year you closed out the year winning the series against Utah, sparked a 10-game winning streak. How much does winning the last series of the regular season translate to postseason success in your history?
Well, I think it's important. I mean, we need to play our way in. I think, we're at 34 wins. I think, you got 3 regular season games left. I mean, you need as many wins as you can get going into selection show Monday, right? And so, I don't know. I know that the group, we watched it yet last year, right? With USC and with Arizona State, they both felt like they were probably going to get a chance to get in the tournament. They both went 1-1 in the tournament. Felt like they had enough and did enough, and then they got left on the doorstep with the selection committee. And I don't think our team wants to be left on the doorstep. I think they want to continue to earn what they get. On the high end of it, to finish with 3 wins this weekend would be tremendous, for the fans, for our program and everything. And it would give us a chance to finish in second place. And historically, the second place Pac-12 team's always hosted. So that's what we're shooting for.